Hi everyone, how are you? I want to say in front of 50,000 I'm usually pretty good. With the disguise of the headset, Bob, I think I'm not too bad for more than that. 500 scares me to death, but we'll try. We'll see how it goes here. First, I want to thank Rennie and the New York State Hall of Fame. All the people I'm going in with is just amazing, and to be, someone said, what, the two best run pitchers and for the Yankees? That's very nice. It's not true, but it's very nice. I love that. First, I'd like to thank my parents who are here tonight. I would have never had any kind of baseball career if it wasn't for them. I've heard a lot of coaches tonight. My dad was a coach, an umpire, a referee. He did it all. My mom, to this day, probably can still have a perfect catch. She can still throw, one of the great athletes when she was younger. I want to say to my wife, Joanna, who's here, the other Joanna, I heard the one before, you know, she knows more about the business I'm in than most people I know. And I want to thank her because she got me my agent. And you know, if you're an announcer, agent's the whole thing, right? So thank you, Joanna, for that. And my brother, Charlie's here. I have three younger brothers, and they all played college baseball. My brother, Eddie, was in the Yankees farm system. So they were all amazing athletes, and they were my competition when I grew up. So that was amazing. My ties to New York, obvious to some, not that obvious to others. First time, Bob, that I stepped on in Yankee Stadium, I hit a home run. Albeit, it was for the Cape Cod Baseball League against the ACBL, and I had a home run and two doubles that game. Joe Nathan, I don't know if you're still here, I didn't want to pitch either. I wanted to be an everyday player. But my ties to New York are deep. I was born in Hawaii, grew up in Massachusetts, but played for the Mets for 10 years, been broadcasting now for them for 14 years, and so almost half my lifetime I've been part of the New York scene. So thank you for giving me this honor. It's very nice. So I was thinking that, you know, I hear a lot of baseball stories, and one of the great things about being a ball player is that I can look around the room and all the guys I know, I have a story about all of you, right? And you have a story about me. And it's not the stories you think. Like, I don't remember baseball stories. I don't remember, you know, how hard Goose threw or you know, how many wins someone have. But behind the scenes, a peek behind the curtain stories are the ones I like. Goose, when he, in the early 90s, came over to the Oakland Athletics, and he came into spring training, and he was still throwing 100 miles an hour, albeit in a green top and white shoes. Couldn't really shake that because I'm used to him in the pinstripes. But he was the same on the field, practices, getting ready to make that Oakland team. But he was so nice off it. Like, everyone just loved him. Get in the clubhouse, Goose was like radiated the greatest energy. He was just such a good guy. And I remember at one point we were all sitting around, we're having a cold one, and Carney Lansford, a great player, batting champion, was just shaking his head. His head was down, just shaking his head. And Goose said to him, "Carney, what's wrong with you?" And he said, "God, if I knew you were such a good guy, I think I would have had a better shot to get some hits off you." And Goose, it was great being your teammate. It was really so, it was an honor. It was an honor. I see Mike Pagliarulo here today, and he doesn't even know he's part of this story. So Camden Yards had just opened up. It was a Monday night game of the world, and I was going to face the Baltimore Orioles. And my brothers had all come down from Massachusetts, and for lunch I said, "Hey, I have this great Italian place on the waterfront. We can all go there." And they're like, "No, we heard of this new place called Hooters that I think we should check out." I'm like, "I'm not going to eat at Hooters before a big league ball game. You just don't do that, right?" So my brothers ended up going. I'm pitching the game that night. I'm looking at them because I knew exactly where their seats were, and I knew, God, I can't wait for them to come and check out this new beautiful ballpark, and I'm going to pitch a big game or whatever. Don't see them. Before the game, nobody there. 4 empty seats. So I start to pitch. I have like one of the worst nights I've ever had in major leagues. Mike Pags hit a grand slam. Now he remembers. hit a grand slam, and I was out of the game by the second, third, fourth inning, whatever it was. Brother's still not there. After the game, I get back to my hotel room, not there either. So I go, let me check this out. I get out of my hotel room, I walk the 2 blocks, there they are, still at Hooters. Never left. Closing the place down. So I'll always remember that. Camden Yards. I do want to say, the one thing that's really cool about this room tonight is that, you know, sometimes, I don't know, baseball lately, last few seasons, seems to be cut in half. You know, you're either on one side or you're on the other side. And what's really great about tonight is that everybody's on the baseball side. All people really care about is talking about baseball people, and then talking about people who love the game. My wife and I recently moved to Connecticut, and one of the reasons, I didn't really tell her this, is that when we moved there was this little coffee place, or deciding to move there, this little coffee place, and we'd go there every morning, and there was a little boat, a sailboat outside, and it had Tony C on it. And when I was a kid growing up in Massachusetts, Tony Conigliaro was the biggest hero if you're someone my age. And I knew right away when my wife was saying, should we move here? I said, absolutely, Tony C's out there. So it's amazing the ties that bind to make you love this game. And I love it. I love being here tonight. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.